worksheet called, thank you. You have two worksheets. One is called Accumulator functions. Everybody with me? I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this right now. This is really important. So, what is an accumulator function? Arun, this is like, we're getting to the real business now. Oh, are you recording? Okay, cool. What you have before you is this function. Do I have all your attention? Never mind all those like silly things like grades and crap like that. Right before you, you see this function, and this function is called f. And this function is composed of a line, a semicircle, a line, and like another line. That is f. I now introduce you to this wild new thing called an accumulator function. An accumulator function is a new function defined in terms of f. It is a function which is defined to be an integral of the f function. Specifically, it's an integral from -4 to x. In other words, x is the number which tells you how far out to go in your integrating of the f function. Follow? At least generally speaking? Okay, good. Please do all these right now. G of -4, G of -2, G of 0, G of 3, go. You got 2 minutes. I'll do the first one for you.
No.
G of -4
No. Yeah, do the last.
would be, by the definition of G, the integral from -4 to -4. What's that?
0.
Yeah, okay, good. Keep going.
Easy question, and it just gets so hard on my head.
Good afternoon, staff and students. This is Mrs. Johnson, your principal. You should have received a letter from me by Connect Ed on Friday, and also your families will receive one today regarding the death of Mr. Ross, one of Blair's beloved math teachers. Mr. Ross worked at Blair for almost 48 years, and I'd like to take this time for us to have a moment of silence in honor of Mr. Ross. Thank you. Students, many of you have asked about attending the funeral service for Mr. Ross on Wednesday, May 13th. Again, that information was sent to your parents today by Connect Ed. You are welcome to attend, students, but we need to make sure we have a note from your parent stating you are absent because you are attending the service. Again, it's voluntary, but if you do want to go, if you were one of your teachers and you do want to go to the service, we do need a note from your parent. And students also understand that this is a difficult time for our staff too. So while you may have a lot of questions, please refer to the letter that was sent home about his passing. Thank you and have a good evening.
This is 47th year teaching at Blair High School. Started when he was 22. Like 6 or 7 years. Long life. Teaching at Blair High School. All right, guys, how's this going?
Easy.
That's what you said. Yeah. So can we kind of like do them really fast? G of -2 is the integral from -4 to -2. So that's just the area of that triangle. So that's like 2, right? Yeah. Right. Then this is the integral from -4 to 0. That's going to be 4. That's just the area of that little double triangle thing. Then this is going to be the integral from -4 to 3. So it's going to be 4, and then minus the quarter circle, right?
9/4 pi.
9/4 pi. Ooh, good accent there. And now the integral from -4 to 6 is going to be 4 minus now the semicircle,
Wait.
right?
Okay.
And then from -4 to 10, well then that's going to be 4 minus 9 pi over 2 plus, I guess that has area 2, right?
Yep.
And then there's like a 3x4 rectangle, so that's 12 and 2, that's 14 and 4, so I got 18 minus 9 pi over 2. Is that what you got?
Yo.
But if you got all those right, it means you understand how accumulator functions work. Okay, now comes the real deal. Arithmetic. This is like serious. Oh crap, 1 minute left to go. All right, what I would now like to do is I would like to investigate on everyone, like, with 100% of your brain power. On what intervals is this function increasing? Don't answer, just watch. I'm now going to do is I'm going to start at -4, and what do I, as x gets bigger, what happens to my interval? Well look, I start drawing a rectangle. I start drawing another rectangle. I start drawing another rectangle. What is happening to the g function as I continue to draw rectangles?
Increasing.
G is getting bigger, right? Because I'm accumulating more and more area. That's why it's called an accumulator function. Not only is g getting bigger, but notice what happens as the f function gets bigger. What's happening to g?
G's getting bigger. And faster.
G is getting bigger at a faster rate,
Yeah.
right? Okay, now what happens now? The f function's getting smaller now. Is g increasing or decreasing?
Increasing at a slower rate.
G is still increasing, right? Because every time I draw a rectangle, I'm still adding area. So the g function is still getting bigger, but it's getting bigger at a slower rate. Agree? Okay, now the function flips to be negative. Now I draw a rectangle. What just happened to the g function now? Don't go anywhere for decrease. Now the g function just got smaller, right? Because every time I add a negative rectangle, I'm adding, now g is getting smaller, right? And now what happens? Is g getting bigger or smaller? Smaller, g's getting smaller, g's getting smaller, g still gets smaller, but now g's getting smaller at a slower rate, right?
Yep.
Okay, now what happens to the g function as I have this rectangle?
Increasing at an
It
increase.
starts getting bigger at like a constant rate or something, I think,
Oh,
right?
constant.
Or no, not yet.
No,
now
no,
it's getting
now
bigger
it
at a
is.
constant rate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Because now with every little rectangle, I'm adding a constant speed. Okay, so where is g going to have a relative maximum? Using common sense. At 0, right? Because 0 is the place where it stopped getting bigger and started getting smaller. Where is g going to have a relative minimum?
That's 6.
At 6, because that's where I stopped adding negative rectangles and started adding positive rectangles. Make sense? Okay, good. You have very little homework. It's just to do both of these worksheets. It should only take like 20 minutes. Please get a good night's sleep for FTC day. You can bring some food, like brownies and cake and fun things. I'll bring the party hats, the noisemakers, and we're going to have a lot of happy stuff. All questions.